Beyond the down payment and base closing costs, buyers are often surprised to learn about a number of additional expenses that can arise during the mortgage and escrow process. These costs, if not anticipated and budgeted for, may strain the buyer's finances or delay the transaction. Arizona real estate professionals are expected to understand these expenses and disclose them clearly and early in the process to protect clients and fulfill legal duties. What are additional loan-related costs? Definition: additional loan-related costs are fees and expenses incurred during the mortgage approval and property due diligence process that are not part of the down payment or base closing costs. These charges are often paid before closing and may not be refundable. Importance of transparency. Buyers, especially first-timers, may not realize that getting a mortgage also means paying for various verifications and inspections to satisfy lender and contract requirements. Failing to prepare buyers for these fees can lead to last-minute financial stress, broken escrow timelines, loss of buyer confidence in their agent commissioner's rule, R4 to 28-1101A. Agents must deal fairly with all parties. If you know a buyer will likely incur a $700 appraisal fee and a $500 inspection fee, but fail to mention it, that omission may constitute a violation of professional conduct. Common costs to the buyer home inspection fees. Purpose: evaluate the home's structure, roof, plumbing, electrical, HVAC, and safety components. Optional but strongly recommended in almost all transactions. Cost in Arizona: typically $300–600, depending on square footage, age, and location. Example: a buyer purchasing a 1900 SQFT home in Mesa may pay around $400 for a general home inspection. Additional inspections, roof, HVAC, sewer scope, could add another $200–300. Appraisal fees: required by the lender to ensure the property is worth the loan amount. Ordered by the lender, but paid by the borrower. Typical cost in Arizona: $400–700. Example: a buyer under contract for a $425,000 home in Tucson must pay $550 for the appraisal. If the appraisal comes in low, this may trigger renegotiation of the purchase price or require the buyer to pay the difference in cash. RESPA compliance: the loan estimate, LE, which is required under TRID RESPA regulations, must include a line for appraisal and inspection costs. Agents should remind clients to review this document as soon as it is issued, typically within 3 business days of loan application. Other potential costs: depending on the location, type of property, and lender requirements, buyers may also encounter the following. Fee: type description: pest inspection required in many contracts or by lenders, especially VA loans. Cost: $50–150 septic inspection. Common in rural areas. Seller usually pays in Arizona, but always verify in contract. Cost: $300–600 well inspection, water testing for properties with private wells. May include potability tests. Cost: $250–500 survey fee, used to confirm property boundaries, especially in rural or custom homes. Cost: $350–800 credit report fee, paid by borrower during pre-approval. Typically $25–50 HOA transfer disclosure fees, can range from $150–500, often negotiated in contract loan origination and underwriting fees, charged by the lender to process the loan, often 0.5%, 1% of loan amount, title and escrow closing fees. Some may be split or negotiated between buyer and seller based on AAR contract lines, 1-33, 160. Real estate tip: many buyers assume that if the inspection or appraisal doesn't go well, they can avoid the fee. In most cases, these fees are non-refundable, even if the deal doesn't close. Impact on loan qualification and budgeting affordability implications. These additional costs are typically not financed into the mortgage. Therefore, buyers must be ready to pay these out of pocket, often early in escrow. Agent's role: ensure buyers don't mistakenly assume earnest money covers all costs. recommend setting aside $1,500 to $3,000 in reserves for inspections, appraisals, and other transaction-related expenses. Example: a buyer is approved for a $350,000 FHA loan with 3.5% down. They save $12,250 for their down payment and closing costs, but fail to budget for $500 home inspection, $650 appraisal, $200 HOA fees, $50 credit report. The buyer now faces a $1,400 shortfall during escrow. Communication and Compliance, ARS, paragraph 32-2153B3. If a licensee fails to adequately inform their client about expected financial obligations, that may be considered negligence or incompetence in the eyes of the Arizona Department of Real Estate. Agents should create a cost checklist for buyers, encourage buyers to review the loan estimate, LE, and closing disclosure, CD, with their lender, maintain written communication and document all cost discussions, prepare buyers for the full picture. While down payment and closing costs are the most talked about expenses, additional loan-related costs can significantly impact a buyer's experience and ability to complete a purchase. As a real estate professional in Arizona, it is your responsibility to help buyers understand what to expect, disclose all known or typical transaction-related costs, stay within the scope of your license while referring to lenders, inspectors, and financial professionals. Ensure buyers understand that not all costs are refundable, even if the transaction fails to close. By doing so, you build trust, protect your license, and increase the likelihood of a successful, low-stress transaction. Statutory and ethical reference. Recap: Rule or Law Summary, AAC, R428-1101A. Licensees must deal fairly and honestly. This includes disclosure of known costs, ARS, paragraph 32-2153B3. Failure to inform buyers about material expenses may be deemed negligence or incompetence. RESPA, Tri-D, requires lenders to disclose expected costs in the loan estimate and closing disclosure within federally mandated timelines.